Hello, my name is Crystal Petry, and you are watching season 3 of the Crystal Petry Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something that I feel like so many people have heard or even said. We always talk about the energy in the room, the energy this person is given, the vibes, good vibes, bad vibes. It's all we're learning about that today. We're learning about energy. We're learning about vibes. And here to educate us is Angel Maria. How are you, Angel?
Fabulous. Thank you so much for having me today, and I hope you're doing well.
I am. I'm excited to have you on this podcast because people are always talking about energy. People are always talking about the vibes. We are going to learn exactly what that energy is and what those vibes are today. So that's good. That's good. Where in the world are you?
I'm in the beautiful, sunny Phoenix, Arizona.
All right. Very good. So, one of your many titles, Angel Marie, is that you are an energy conductor, which I have never heard of that term before. So, what is an energy conductor and how did you get into this space?
What a conductor is in that energy is I read energy. I can feel energy. And for almost 30 years, I have been doing energy healing. And it's that energy, it's really the biofield. Science tells us it's a biofield around you. And we call it light workers, we call it the aura. But
Okay.
science calls it that, and what it means is it's the electromagnetic field that surrounds everybody, and that's, you sense the spikes, and you can sense the spikes of people, if it's stress, if it's joy, and it's vibration. And that's quantum physics, because quantum physics says that we're energy and we're
Mhm.
just moving energy. And it can be emotional and cognizant, and it is all in that vibration. And how did I get into it? I think that was the original
Yes.
question. Was being diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, Sjogren's,
Wow.
Epstein-Barr syndrome, neuropathy in my hands and my feet. I'm in constant chronic pain all this time. I went down that route of that Western medicine. It didn't
Mhm.
work for me. And then I found energy healing, Reiki. But more than that, because I've worked with shamans, I've worked with different energies. And what happened is I started to learn about the energy and the connection that it has in our tissues and in how we relate. And what happened is I started to study that, and I found that I could move energy, and that's because I'm a Tai Chi instructor, so that's why I do it. And move energy, and I could feel everybody's energy like I can feel your energy. And
Okay.
listeners, I can feel yours too. I can feel vibrational fields, and you can do it over the lines, you can do it in person. So that's what and how I got to really connect. And then I've been teaching Reiki, but yet teaching as a certified spiritual counselor, I've been teaching how to experience the energy.
Okay.
That's the biggest part, because I'm that bridge between studying and learning energy and knowing and science, but then actually coming in and experiencing it. That's what I have people fly all over the world to come see me, because they're like, I want to experience my energy, not just because I know it. I want to actually feel the energy and be able to know how to balance and manage it. But the biggest one is to change the form of it. So I hope that answers the question that.
It did. It did. Now, I have some follow-up questions here, Angel. First one, how do you prepare yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, your energy when you have people, like you said, that are coming from all over the world to see you so you can help them with their energy? Or even when you walk into an event and you have to be an energy conductor and there's 10, 20, 30, 40, hundreds of people in the room.
Yes, it's not challenging because I've been doing it for so long. But just last week, I was with 200 women. But you get there early. You make sure you set the tone, set the energy, clear the space. That's the biggest thing. I'm there way before anybody even gets there. And I'm in the tech area. I'm with the vendors because everybody's, and you're just calming the vibrational field. So how do I do that? I clear the static mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and physically, and I regulate my nervous system. That's the biggest point with breath work. And studies have shown that increases your vagus tone, which is the vagus nerve. You've heard that all the time, listeners, right? Vagus nerve. Well, yeah, it's real, and I've been doing it a long time. And that's the tone I'm talking, and it reduces your cortisol, which what helps you to calm down. And I use Reiki. I do, and energy clearing to clean up any of my own field and shift that beta brain waves to stress pattern into that alpha and that theta system. And that's what really helps. And then intuitively, I calm the flow and the energy more easily. So I meditate, I can dance, I smile, I do Tai Chi, I do this whole thing where I go and go up and go out and go out and go down. And what I'm doing is moving my arms up and down, and I'm moving because if I'm not grounded, I'm just being the amplifier of chaos, right? That's really what I am. But yes, when I'm aligned, my field becomes like a tuning fork for everyone else's nervous system to sync in that peace.
Okay. We see, well, I'll just speak for me. I see a lot of times, especially on TV, people are like burning sage and they have the different rocks and things that are supposed to evoke peace. And the sage is supposed to clear out bad energy, bad vibes, and usher in peace. Is that factual? Are people using sage and rocks correctly?
I would say a lot of them right now are not using it very correctly. So I will tell you this, the sage is great. And there's many different sage. You got the white sage, you got lavender sage, you got tons of sages, right? That everybody's making out. It's not the sage. Yes, sage does help because, but it's the act. It's the purpose of you doing and going to every corner. See, when I go to an event, I'm not going to use sage because people will be like, it might smell like weed. Some of them say it smells like, or it might take off the alarms, the fire alarms. So I don't use that. What I use is a water bottle with lavender in it and some crystals. That is for, and you said crystals, and crystals that amplify abundance, because we all want to be abundant no matter what and where we're at. So I spray that the whole entire place. I mean, that's why I'm there an hour and a half early, because the whole place, especially that 200 room, that took me an hour and a half to clear the space with the spray, with the crystals in it. And then I use a bell, because the bell is a tone. And that tone is clearing out frequency. And then there's more to it because I work with a medicine wheel, a shining wheel. And especially here in Phoenix, we have a lot of land that is burial ground, or have been having fight, the fights and stuff from old times. And you have a lot of heavy energy. So I clear that out too. And that's specific. Yeah, that's a very specific way to do that and bring up the ancestors and all of that. So sage is great. Yes. Many people are using it incorrectly. Yes. You don't bring in new and fresh energy with sage. It's the intention that you're doing.
Okay.
I hope that was clear.
Yes. So you can still burn sage and have that around your house, but it's your intention that matters and not the actual burning of the sage.
So if you're not trained in how to clear a space, just like yesterday, I went to one of my students, my Reiki students, and he just moved into a house, and it was 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And I taught him how to clear his space every week. And there's more. And he knows that. He's like, wow, there's more. And I said, oh yeah. I mean, I went to school for 8 months for just clearing houses and blessing houses and spaces. There's a lot to it because everything is energy.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like we overlook that. I know I do. I don't think about everything as energy as I'm going through my day, as I'm doing this podcast. It's not top of mind. Right now, it's top of mind because you're educating me on it. But normally, it's not top of mind for me that everything truly is energy.
Yeah, everything. Pain is energy, right? If you're in pain, like I'm in pain. So, but pain is energy and it can be removed. It can never be removed. You can change the form of it. Einstein says, science says, quantum physics says, energy can never be dissolved. It merely changes forms. And that's what I teach. I teach that you can change the form of anything. Like last night, I couldn't move my hand. I could not move my hand. It was like a knife going through it. It just hurting. And what did I do? And it's getting into that resonance inside that energy. And I can teach that, but it's not one. I mean, it because you have to be able to connect to that. And I moved the energy out and pain was gone.
To the best of your ability, Angel, and I love your whole name. It's Angel Marie Monticelli.
Monticelli.
Monticelli. I love your entire name. It just really flows off the tongue. Can you explain to us, to the best of your ability, how does it feel when you are in complete alignment with your genius, with your energy? What does that feel like for you?
It feels like almost like I'm surfing on this divine current. And I use the divine because some people say universe, God, higher self. Someone say divine, that divine current. And so there's no resistance. It just flows. And that's the beauty, because by the biofield, the study confirmed that it is that you're always on that elevated emotional state, and the energy and it's measurable, it's radiant, and it's in training. Now that's a big word, because that's what's happening with what I'm doing at events. And that's what I'm helping clients do when they see me, is entrain them. And it happens. And I become this lighthouse. I really do. And people say that. Last night I went to an event and they're like, oh, Angel's here. I can feel the light come in through the door. It really is true. But what did I do before I got there?
That's a great
I was
question.
in the car. I was doing the breathing. I was moving. And it's because it's the alignment. I'm always in alignment, and I always know where that alignment is. And people step into that field and they open up, they light up, and they connect more deeply to themselves and their purpose. Because each of us, when we're in a room, we're having that cognizant energy. But when someone comes in on a different frequency, see, I didn't say higher. I don't want to say that I'm better than you. No, I just am in a different frequency because I can tap into them because I've been doing it for so long. So when that happens, like becomes like. It can't go down. And that's proven quantum physics. You will be entrained to the energy. That's why I get hired for events, because they have one speaker after another. And what's happening to the crowd? They're going down. So they look at me, and because when I stand up, they look at me because they know if I'm stand, because I can sit there. I'm not going to be like, oh, wooey woo and make a big. I don't do that. I don't have to do that. But I'll stand in the middle of all of these chairs all the way around me, and I'll just stand there. And I don't even do this. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stand there. That's it. But what am I doing?
I know most people have not been trained as you have been trained, Angel Marie. But we hear it now a lot when people say, I could feel her energy. I could feel his vibes when they walk into the room. What is that? Are we really able to feel a person's energy, whether that's bad energy or good energy or peace or light, even though we haven't been trained?
It doesn't matter if you're trained or not, because you as a person are already resonating vibrational field. That's just how it is. There's no way to get around it. We're always emitting that energy, and it's always coming from like 6 to 10 feet. It really is in there, and that's the heart's field is measurable, and it is absolutely measurable, and it's the emotional tone of what's happening. Everything is emotions, right? So, but I really want to jump back for a second and say there is no negative energy or positive energy. This is one
Really?
of the biggest things I teach and I get pushback on. If it's energy that you might think is negative, it just doesn't resonate with my energy. Period.
So, what would that be called if it's not called negative energy or positive
It's
energy?
unwanted energy. It's just energy. But what do
Okay.
you do? What do you do when that is you just do what I said earlier. You just move through it. You don't try to block it. You can't block energy. It's Wi-Fi. You can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Right? If someone comes in and they're rah, 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 you're gonna feel it. So what do? You have boundaries. But jumping back, what you said is yes, every single one of you listeners, and Crystal, your energy is going out there. And I always say that to really connect and you to be in a place to nurture your energy is to identify it, to understand when you are aligned. And that's the biggest thing when people see me, because that's what happens. They're aligned. So I say, okay, now you know here, you're aligned, you're oneness. What do you feel? And I make, what do you feel? Okay. So anytime you want, you can feel that way, because you can, with your brain, because brain doesn't know if it's real or not real, you can go right back to that feeling. And that's what, and then I follow up with them and say, boom, put yourself in that feeling. And then we're on the phone. And
That
I'm,
easy?
oh, no, it's not that easy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I say, okay, right now. And they're like, well, I'm doing this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No matter what is happening in your life, I want you to go right now. And I'm in training them over the lines, helping them with their energy, because there is no time or space. I'm sitting right next to you, Crystal. There is no time or place. Listeners, I'm with you right there. And quantum tells us that it's hard for our brains to understand it, but it is true, because that's the point of all of us are feeling energy, but we study it, right? That's why I say I'm a bridge, because we're all studying it. Oh, I get it. I get it. No, you don't. I love you, but you don't get it until you feel it. You feel it and
Angel
know where
Marie,
your
how
energy.
does someone, and I'm assuming that it's different for each person, but how can someone tell when they are not in alignment, when they are out of
Oh,
alignment? How can you tell that?
oh, that's a good question, and that one's actually pretty easy, because you're agitated, you feel stuck, you're annoyed with everyone, you're like you're just your whole thing is like, and you don't know really what's wrong, because you look at it and you go, well, I got money in the bank, we could always have more, but oh, we got money in the bank, this is done, but I just don't feel and that's what I get, people calling and say, I just don't feel right. I'm like, you're out of alignment. And once it puts you into alignment, with your help, we work together, because everything is experience. You come to my office, you'll be up, you'll be doing. It's not just no, and you'll feel it. That's the key.
What
Alignment is
are
everything.
what are some tips that people can do at home or in the office, wherever they are listening to this podcast, to help them get back into alignment?
Beautiful. I am the breath pusher. Every day on Facebook stories and Instagram stories, I will remind you to breathe.
Okay.
I want you to get really good at the diaphragmatic breath, which is a backwards breath, isn't it? Really. It's breathing in through your nose, diaphragm comes out, which is
Okay.
backwards. When you breathe
How are
out,
you let me see, you breathe in through your nose and diaphragm comes out?
yeah, so it's like this. but some of you can't see this. Comes out.
Oh, I don't think I can do that. Let me try.
Okay.
No.
Put your hand right here, right underneath your breasts.
Okay, we're all doing this together, community. Everybody do it.
Okay, so no breathing. First, no breathing. Just move the diaphragm up, back and forth, in and out. Feel the diaphragm. Feel the diaphragm. Not the belly, not the belly. You feel it?
Yes.
Now stop. Everybody stop. Breathe in through your nose and move like a balloon your diaphragm out. Now breathe out through your mouth, slit mouth, and move your diaphragm in.
Okay, let me try that again. So breathe through my nose.
Diaphragm
out. Diaphragm.
Breathe
out my mouth. And then in diaphragm.
In diaphragm.
Okay, let me try this again. Everybody, let's try this. Unless you're driving, please don't try this. Okay.
So everybody try this, and I'll walk you through it, and you do it. Okay. So everybody, breathe in through your nose as your diaphragm is moving out. Move it out like a balloon. Now, breathe out through your slit mouth, and bring the diaphragm in. Bring it in like you're sucking it in, but you're not sucking. You're just moving it in. Again, everybody, breathe in through your nose. Diaphragm comes out. Breathe out through slit mouth, and the diaphragm comes in.
Okay. I got that.
That in most healthcare, I'm not a healthcare person, I can't say that, but will tell you you're getting out of flight or flight. Because we're in flight or flight most of the time. If we're this stress, little tiny stress or big stress, the body doesn't know the difference. Mm-hmm. So by you doing that, so what I teach, and it's fun because everything is fun to me, it's got to be an adventure, is every time you go to the bathroom, even for you guys, I know, but every time you go to the bathroom, do 3 to 5 belly breaths. And it will change your life because what does it do? It calms down the biofield, it calms down the whole nervous system, it aligns and engages the vagus nerve. We've always known this for 30 years, but science is finally catching up with me. I'm going to say it with me on the stuff that I can say this because it's true, because your frequency will shift and you'll have more clarity, more focus. So please, everybody learn the diaphragmatic breath. I have a YouTube on my YouTube, I have a video on it, but it's everywhere. So go ahead and learn that. And then the other one, because you wanted another tip, and I love tips because people call me the ninja tips for energy, and I really am, is clapping. Google it, viewers. Clapping. You clap, and what am I doing? It is disturbing my nervous system, my energy field, because right? So, and then ground it. And then ground it. I mean, just do that. You'll get chills all through your body. Wow. Because that's the nerve. This is real. This is the biofield or your aura.
You are teaching today, Angel Marie. You are teaching today. I was watching your content. Don't people call you, is it Angel of Light?
Yes, people call me the Angel of Light. And it's really my name really is Angel.
Your first name really is Angel. But as I was watching your content, I was like, everyone calls her the Angel of Light on. Okay, I see why. Yes. Okay, so Angel, how does trauma and unhealed hurt, unhealed experiences affect energy? Or does it? Because I remember earlier you said that energy does it not change, it just moves around.
Yeah. You can't get rid of trauma. If anybody says, come to this class, we're going to get rid of your traumas, run. You can't do that because it's just energy. And energy, again, can never be dissolved. It merely changes form. So understanding what trauma is, it's just a memory. It really is a memory. And it is energy that's frozen in the nervous system. And like I like to say, is issues in your tissues.
I love that. I love that.
And the thing is if you have it in your tissues, it's energy. So you can what? Change the form of it. So that's really all it is. And it can be tension. It can be, you can be overreacting because of this trauma. And, the biofield, again, is layers. And it gets stuck in there and it carries the imprints. And it can for decades. I have to admit, even 2 weeks ago, I remembered a sexual trauma that happened to me that I'd never remembered from a heart
Really?
doctor, actually. And I
Oh
had
my
never
goodness.
remembered that. So what did I do? Did I dive in and cry about it? And that, well, if I needed to, I would have, but I didn't need to because I just started writing. That's another thing. And writing to really connect to it and say, this isn't me anymore. But the thing is that I want to say is that trauma, or what we call trauma, and the shadow work, people call it that too. The thing is the miracle of all of it is that energy healing, breath, and safe connections can rewire those patterns, because you have neural nets, neural pathways, emotional peptides, and they're really bing, bing, bing. They really are. And you get in a loop with the reticular brain function. You get in a loop with that. And the beauty and the miracle is you really can get unstuck in that. But you have to look at it a different way, and it can really be released, but not released. Remember, it'll never, when I go to a doctor, I always make sure there's a nurse in it. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because I was sexually abused by a doctor. And they go, oh, okay, yeah, we'll get somebody.
Yeah.
And what is that? That's a boundary.
Yes. That's exactly what that is.
It's asking for what you want. And if you have listened to my signature song, that is one of the things that I wrote in there. Ask for what you want. Show them what you got.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. You are the superstar. So that's about trauma, because it really isn't. It's I don't even use that word, because once I say that word, you're going there. I don't want that vibration is a low, like no, the word no, the word try. There's words that are lower frequencies.
Mm-hmm. So like words with negative connotation.
Well, you might look at it as a negative, but I look at it, it's just a frequency that is lower. I mean, when I had my dog, my baby that just left like a year ago, she didn't know no. Because that word is not in my home anywhere around me. It was leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Very what? Yeah, leave it. And she'd just walk away instead of no. And then that vibration.
Right. What does energetic self-care look like for you?
The energetic self-care. Well, for me, I live it. And that's it. I live that. And that's who I am. And it's really staying in alignment again. And when everything gets noisy, which it does, everything does, there's so much, right? I clear the field again with energy clearing. I protect it with intention, and I restore it with movement. Because remember, movement is lubricant.
Yes.
Right? And the motion is the lotion that helps us to get through it. And I don't just rest. I do rest. I have like 4 different times a day, and they're scheduled. And my timer goes off, and it's like, okay, take 7 minutes, 10 minutes between whatever I'm doing. But I don't rest. I recalibrate. And that's the key to, I don't do meditations. I do recalibrations. I have classes on that.
What is the difference?
Without alignment is just a numbness, is all it really is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So to consciously align my breath, my thoughts, my emotions, it raises my frequency. And then what happens? Magic all comes together. And that's what I focus on.
What is the difference between meditation and calibration?
Meditation is a lot of times people are listening to things,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in this place of talking or some sort of like, oh, the chakras need to be aligned, so I'm going to go into this whole meditation. I'm going to listen to this, and then I'm sitting there and I'm doing breath. I understand that, doing breath. calibration, alignment, is when you're actually feeling your energy and moving energy. That's when you're calibrating, when you're connected and go, ooh, something's going on there. Let's move that out. Let's bring this in. That's recalibration. And if you don't know your field, you've never connected with your vagus nerve is out, your nervous system's out of whatnot, you're not going to be able to do it just doing it. It's not something you can't read and do. You really do need to go to someone to be able to be in their field, so that energy and that genius that you both have come together, so you come to a higher level to recalibrate. You can't recalibrate what you don't know.
It's true. It's true.
You don't know what you don't know until you know.
This is a flip-flop question, Angel Marie. Can someone be physically well and energetically unwell? Or can someone be energetically well and physically unwell?
I say yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's more common for more people. It really is. And we see that because, they're eating healthy, they're out there and they're working out, but they're so disconnected, their anxiety, and they feel really lost in what they're doing. And that's in their emotional bodies. And we have that all over the place because they think, oh, I have energy, I'm fine, but they don't, and they're not connected to what they really feel. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. It really doesn't. That doesn't bring freedom. It really doesn't. So being energetically well and being physically well, that is a combination. And that's why I say I'm a bridge between what you think you know about all this science and all this thing, and to actually physically feel it and bring both of them together. When you do that, there's nothing you can't do. It is amazing.
One of the things that we spoke about, Angel Marie, before the podcast, when we initially spoke, you talked about zone of genius. Explain to us, especially me, what is zone of genius?
Oh, wow. Your zone of genius is the energetic pattern that is recognized and harmonized. And it's in that harmonization. And you can feel it in the moment, and like in a room when it's disconnected, or when you're in that disconnect. It's that sense that something's off, or you feel like you're shutting down. Okay. Yet the thing is with being in the biofield awareness, meaning being aware of this, you'll understand how to step into your genius, and you can be trained, and your system can be trained to simply aligning with the field, and it helps to create your energy field. So the zone of genius is what you just really said, was when you're emotionally connected, and when you're physically, and when everything around, that's what I call the zone of genius. And you can do that, and I teach it. And then I teach how to do it in 30 seconds or less. And that's why this book, Ignite, is everything about 30 seconds or less. Because quantum field, there's no time or space. There isn't. So 30 seconds is all that's really needed. So zone of genius is really helping you to harmonize. Because when you harmonize your energy, you become magnetic, and the space around you becomes magnetic. People want to be in my space. That's why they hire me. They want me to be there, because they know and I don't do anything. Me. I'm in my zone of genius. But you have a zone. That's the miracle, and everything is, you have it right there. You don't pay attention. Nobody's paying attention to it because they're busy.
Yes. You know what I thought about when you were initially talking about zone of genius and I was creating these questions? I love sports, and they always talk about the athlete was in the zone. The basketball star was in the zone. It's when like everything they do is perfect. Like they make every shot, they make every steal, they make every block, like everything that they're doing on the field, basketball, football, baseball, whatever, hockey, whatever that whatever field that is, it's like they're doing it at a different level. Going back to what you were saying, and then people say he's in the zone, she's in the zone.
It's because you get into a quantum field, a different dimension almost. Now, I can really relate to this because I'm an athlete. I have been all my life. I was nominated for All-American for softball, the University of Oklahoma, full ride scholarship.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
thank you. The thing is when they ask me, how do you do this?
Yes.
Because I was totally amazing. And it's because I saw everything in slow motion. It did. I knew that she was going to hit that ball to me. I knew she was going to bunt because I was third baseman. I knew when to go in because I could feel that she was going to bunt. Or I would back up and move towards the line because I knew she was trying to hit it away from me on the line. That's your zone of genius, and everything comes in slow motion. It's when you have such an intent, such a concentration that you're not even coming from your head. You're not coming from your brain. You're coming from your heart. You just know it. You're like, hit it to me, hit it to me, hit it to me, hit it to me. It's going to come to me. I got you. I got you. I'm going to dive over here and I'm going to get. That's the zone of genius. That's when you're moving.
How can people acknowledge their zone of genius? I know you said that everyone is busy, and we are, and we ignore it and we overlook it. What can we do to acknowledge our zone of genius and really step into it?
Well, it's identifying it. When you're in it, is actually taking the moment. And I always use the bathroom. I really do, because it's the only place that we can go where somebody might not go with us. But I know men, they're together. But it really is identifying when you are taking the moment. And I like saying, take a memory picture of the feeling of it. Take a memory picture of not only the feeling, but everything around you. Are you warm? Are you like, I'm in my zone right now and I'm really boiling. I feel
that. I feel you, like you are in your zone, Angel Marie. I can feel it.
Yes. And I also feel 10 feet tall. I feel huge. And I'm like all of 5'1.5". So I feel huge right now because I'm in my zone. It's just flowing. And I'm not having to think about what I'm talking about. It's just being in that flow. So I recognize when that is. But what did I do before I got on? I grounded, I shifted, I did all of my stuff. But I do that every morning, but you do it throughout the day. It's not one and done. Remember, we're Wi-Fi listeners. We are Wi-Fi. You're going to get hit by that person that cuts you off and then flips you off. And you're thinking, and how do you react? That just happened to me. And how do you react? I started laughing, and I think it's the wife, it probably was the wife or girlfriend or whatever, I could tell it smacked him on the shoulder, like, wait, and started yelling at him. You listeners, if you don't know, I have silver hair, and
beautiful silver hair.
Thank you. And so I know she got mad, like, I can't believe you flipped it. You're the one that did it, and you flipped her on.
Yes.
But that's energy. It didn't come into my space. Why? Because laughter is another thing. Movement, intention, laughter, beautiful ways to remove, to release the energy. Dance. That's why I have my signature song, because I love my signature song, because it's a happen with.
Angel Marie, no one, I've been doing this podcast for 3 years at this point, 3 seasons. No one has, including myself, has ever moved as much as you have moved this entire podcast. You're standing, you're moving, the arms are working, like everything. I'm loving it. I am enjoying this.
Oh, good. Fabulous.
Is energy a universal language?
Say again.
Is energy? Is energy a universal language?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. 1000%. We all have it. That's one thing that keeps us all common throughout the whole entire world. I don't care who you are. Because why? We all have emotions. And emotions is what makes energy. Period.
Mm,
Done. Quantum fields. Emotions are energy. So keep it positive is what I always tell people. Keep it positive.
yes.
No matter what is happening, it doesn't matter. Because nothing's permanent, people, right? Nothing's
Hmm.
permanent. Everything will change. But what? Ask for help. Ask for help. Like
Yes.
I said, I went out and cleared a house while I also brought my massage bed. Well, again, I'm 5'1" and a whole buck 10 over here. And I got that massage table in the car. But when I got home, I called my neighbor and said, "Hey, when are you going to be home? Can you help me out?" Because why? I shouldn't be trying to take that thing out. And he's a big guy and he helps me because why? I ask for
For
help.
help. Yes. How can someone start to build a daily awareness of their energy?
The way that I would say is just start out with 2 minutes, work to 5 minutes, and do the breaths. Do the
Hmm.
breaths, do the diaphragmatic breaths. Just do them in your nose, out through slit mouth. And if you don't want to do the diaphragm yet, but really, come on, there's YouTube channel. I mean, you can learn it from anyone. When you get good at that, you will identify when you're in a different dimension, if you're a different place, and you'll start to feel. And I know it sounds simple and it doesn't cost anything, but your time, which what? Nobody takes the time. There's always something to clean. There's
Yeah.
always something to call. Scrolling through Instagram come on, stop with the TikTok. Now go to mine. Okay, I'll tell you to go to mine, but stop. Stop the clutter and the noise because you really do matter. And that's the thing is in quantum physics, you matter because you're in the collective of all the world's energy. You can't get beyond that because we're just all energy. So if you're a lower vibration, you're bringing the whole house down, but you're bringing the whole world down. You
Hmm.
really are. And that's most people that I don't usually say that, but on a quantum level, you really are. So keep your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy field up.
Angel Marie, you have been doing this for several years now, more than several, but I'm just going to say several years. What is your intention in this space, in this energy space?
What my intention is that I reach millions. I serve millions. I awaken millions. And I also make billions. I'm going to say it. Why not? And I give away millions. But it's my sole commitment to the world that each one of you, not only learn, but feel that you can change your energy in 30 seconds or less. And you can do that. That is my commitment is that you feel it, you own it, and you show up in that because it's only a choice. Nobody knows what's going on. You can have nothing in your account and you can show up like a millionaire. That's a frequency. And that will change the whole entire room. But when you show up as I need clients, because I'm an entrepreneur, so I need clients and I'm going to get clients because I got no money. Well, you're not going to get anywhere because that vibration.
You can feel that. You can feel that.
The
Yes.
lack, the lack mentality, the lack. And that's innate within you. And I work with a lot of entrepreneurs with that because they're there, but they don't realize that they're there because they're struggling. It's like stop.
Hmm. Wow, Angel Marie Monticelli. This has been such an energetic, open adventure that I have had with you on this It has been an adventure that I have had with you on this podcast.
Oh my gosh. And it's funny you say that, not because you're getting entrained. You are. So, because I never say it's a journey, I never say it's just I say everything we do is an adventure. And if you look at it like that,
Really? And
oh,
I just
yeah.
said that because I truly feel that way. This podcast has been an adventure from the time we started.
Yeah. And if we really look at life as an adventure instead of a journey, or instead of a practice, or instead of a a
I have
lesson.
to.
Yeah, I have to. And really, listeners, take this one, write it down. I call them writer downers. Write this one down. You don't have to do your laundry. You don't want to do your laundry. You get to do it. You get to do it. Change everything to I get to. I get to. I get to. Different energy.
I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start incorporating that into my language.
Yeah.
I think we all should.
Yeah, you really should, because most people say, I got to go to work, or I got to go do some things. I got it. Don't even say that. I get to finish this project. That's what I tell people. They're like, what are you going to do the rest of the day, Angel? Well, I get to have a Reiki session with an amazing lady a little later. And then I get to finish this webinar, or finish writing out my new class that I just put together. It's not new. I've been doing it, but I brought it back because everybody's bugging me. They want classes. They want my classes back again, and I haven't done them in a long time. So I'm bringing them back.
Well, Angel Marie, I really hate to end this interview, but I really do. But my final question for you, who do you think would make a great guest on the podcast? But you have to help me get them on.
Oh, that would be Amber Golden. She was just on my TV show last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known her for years, dear friend, and she's an expert in what she does. So you want to talk to her, and she's a good interviewer. Or interviewee.
Yes.
So yeah, call upon Amber. She'll help you. Yeah. She'll help you out.
I cannot wait to speak and learn from Amber. Again, Angel Marie, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
You are so welcome. And thank you. And thank you, viewers, for listening. I hope you got some writer downers, and keep shining your light. Absolutely. Keep shining.
And that's coming from the angel of light.
Yes.
To my community, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You can get Angel's podcast on YouTube Podcast and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.